Okay. So we've got our CT14. We're going to mix it up for a heavy degrease solution. So, as the instructions say, use buildup. 455 mils litre. So we don't have any measurements on the side. We'll mix it up and get it going. So we're just going to have a look underneath. So I've been around underneath once with the degreaser. We're going to try and keep it as wet as we can so that it doesn't dry on the surface before we go through and hit it. So I'm going to do the engine bay now and try to keep everything wet for the next 15 minutes. Okay, so we've been around, sprayed everything that we want with the CT14 degreaser. So now we're going to go through with the gurney. We're going to give everything a gurney. Then we'll let everything dry, have a look in the morning, see if there's anything else that we need to touch over again, and we'll go from there. Good night, and we'll have a look and see how well we did, see if there's anything we still need to touch on before it goes back in the shed. When it goes back in the shed, we'll start prepping the underneath, ready for spraying. Once we prep it underneath, give it all a good hit with the wire brush. Then we'll probably bring it back outside, throw it back up, give it a little tub underneath, let it dry before we start the spray. That way we get it as clean as possible and free of dust as possible. So the CT14 has done an exceptionally good job. A couple of stubborn spots, that's actually fine, but up here we've got a couple of stubborn spots where it's really caked on. Around the front here, it has really cleaned everything up quite nicely. Again, a couple of real thick spots that I should have got hit harder with the gurney. But all in all, I am really happy with the results that we have achieved with the CT14, with just putting it on, letting it have its 15 minutes on the surface. It has broken down so much grease, oil, and everything else that was stuck to the chassis. And when I gurneyed it off yesterday, I was in failing light, so there was some things I did not see straight away, or could not see properly. So we have our CT14 just made up in a 2 litre, so we'll spray those stubborn spots. And we'll go from there. So yesterday we made up 5 litres of our CT14. Today, and then we gurney the chassis, so I found a couple of stubborn spots, so today we're going to make up just a little 2 litre, just so we can do those couple of stubborn spots. And the instructions say 95 ml. To make up a 2 litre. So we'll get that made up. We'll go do our stubborn areas, which is where the grease was really thick. Then we'll bring the Rodeo back into the shed. Yesterday we literally sprayed everything we possibly could, just so we could see what we had to work with and just to break down majority of the rubbish. Today we're doing more of a targeted spray on the areas that we missed, which isn't too bad, which is why we only made up the 2 litres. So now I'll restart our timer. We'll give that another 5 minutes. Then we'll fire up the gurney, give everything a gurney. When we take the Rodeo back in the shed, you get a better overview of just how clean this is from what it started as. You can see right in there where it's actually starting to eat away at that grease, and that grease is literally just dripping off. Okay, so the Rodeo has had a chassis wash. We've got it back in the shed now, up on ramps, so we can get underneath and we can have a good look and see how well the degrease went. And then we'll start with cleaning up the chassis. We'll get the wire brush out, give everything a run over, and then we'll be ready to start the chassis spray. So it's looking really, really clean under here now. That's a foam. That's in there. But the CT14 has broken down all the remnants of oil and grease.